So, given that our topic is about failure and we fail a lot, Penny, why do you see, or rather, do you see failure as a natural part of entrepreneurship?
Thank you for that wonderful question to start off today's episode. No, I do think it's part of it. Sometimes it's not even in the same startup, right? Sometimes it's a failure of a business of an idea that you've had before. Me personally, which I mentioned in the intro, I have had several startups, or at least uh, business businesses, small businesses that did not fly. But even though they did not fly, I learned from each and every one of those businesses. It's failure is part of it's a natural part of entrepreneurship because you get the lessons from it. I think I heard before about the only way to really learn how to do business is to do it, and to do it, failure is part of it. What about you, Francis?
No, I totally agree. I love how, we used to, as, when we were maybe a much younger Francis and Penny, uh,
I'm still
I
young,
used
you
to
know.
I used to watch those old TV shows like
Mm,
Negotiate or Business
yeah.
Insider, like those kinds of, like, people always talking about, this is what we did, this is how I succeeded in business. What I learned much later in life is that you can't just say, I have an idea, I will start a business, because for every successful business, there's nine other businesses that have failed, possibly even more.
Yeah.
But the statistics literally say that 90% of businesses fail, most within its first 5 years. Yeah, most within its first 5 years, even more during its first year alone, right? So, um, I think I wanted to define this, that uh, failure is a part of your business journey, but in a way, failure, it's only a failure, it's really only a failure if it ends your business. That means it's failed, right? Your business has failed, like you decide to pack up and leave off. Otherwise, it's really just a setback if you're able to overcome that failure. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
is my take. That is my take. So, that is, I mean,
So,
honestly,
Francis, let me
yeah.
let me ask you like a very quick question. Do you have? Can you share like a quick anecdote of one of the businesses that you've had before that you considered as a failure,
As a failure,
and what happened? Yeah.
how far do I have to dig back? I,
Yeah, because I know you've had a ton of
no,
businesses that
it's
you
really,
yeah.
and it's really more like, it's in the past. Some of them succeeded to a certain degree. Some of them flew. Some of them were like just silly ideas. I remember, uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, there was a time when we wanted to put up, say, for example, an events company, right? But
Mm.
given that time, I think we had a lot of people who were the right people for our team, but because we were also working, like, we wanted to do it as a side hustle, but
Mm-hmm.
I think nobody was really able to commit full time to it until
Okay.
it just naturally sort of fizzled out. Like, nobody really took it seriously, so we wanted to take it. I think it died before it a stillbirth. I think we had a natural, like, oh, we had a friend who's gotten married, so
Mm.
everybody was like, okay, we can do this, and then it succeeded, and we're like, we can do this. but but ultimately, I think the problem in getting that idea off the ground is the commitment to it. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay when you're doing it for friends and family, but it's a lot harder when you go out to the real world and try to pitch to to non friends and family. Yeah, so
That's
I
true.
that's one. Yeah, I feel like that died before it really got to see itself, uh, really take off the ground. But what the heck? That's how a lot of businesses really start, right? You bake
Yeah,
cookies,
you start
and
with
then,
an idea, you
yeah,
try to get people that you need to get it, or sometimes you just try to do it alone. So it really depends, right? I think for me, One thing that I can probably share quickly is previously my sister and I tried to sell jewelry, and these are like
Oh
this
yeah.
this was eons ago. So what was in back then was those were those what those big jewelry
Yeah.
with the gems and
I think
everything.
I remember that. You showed me the,
Yeah.
was it the Instagram? You showed me the Instagram page.
Yeah, we had we even had socials for it. We didn't do any ads. I think back then, this really, really early, ads wasn't like a thing. Well, it was a thing for Google and things like that, but Facebook ads weren't as popular, I guess, as compared to now. But I think what happened there was that if you got support from your family and friends, I think I did not get support on my side of my side of the family where
Oh.
I couldn't get. So my part in that business was to get the stock, right? Like go out, find the jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
and then buy them so that we have stock. Unfortunately, there were times where I can't even go out of the house because of I needed to take care of the family, and yeah, there was a lack of support of making sure that everything was okay so that I can go out and get stock. So
Yeah.
I feel like for you, you did get, people on your side. I mean,
We
as far
did
as
have
support
people that,
goes,
yeah.
yeah. But as far as support goes, like everyone else, like try to buy from us and everything. But then you can't really do business if you don't have any stock. You don't have any product to sell, so that
Yeah.
fizzled out as well.
You had the
Yeah.
demand. I think it was we were opposites then, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. But yeah, tell you what, we could probably go on and on and on. I
Mm-hmm.
never fail to tell people that I'm a serial failure as an entrepreneur. But it gives you, it gives you Meet the Robinsons vibes. Like you remember that cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
He did an invention and it failed, and everybody was like, "You failed." I don't think, I want to welcome failure as more of like, yes, I learned something, but
Yeah.
maybe not as, hopefully not as often, but I know that it will happen now. But tell you what, why don't we go over some of what we know as common startup failure reasons for startup
Startup
failures,
failures. Yeah.
and how to
So
overcome them.